Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft training webinar. I'm Susan Arnold, Implementation Specialist here at ClaritySoft. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, and our topic for today is an introduction to building quotes and invoices using the new quote builder. Our agenda for today is pretty simple. This is designed to be just a quick intro to get you started with using the template builder, and then you'll be able to explore more on your own and try things out. If you've worked with some other template builders using the DevExpress development tool, then this will be familiar to you. But we'll be taking an already existing template, which is what we recommend that you do, and then making changes to it. So we will be adding a company logo and some other images into that template so you learn how to add images and set them up in the template. And then the items table where the product line items display, editing that table so that you can change the columns and readjust the columns in that table. And along with that, we'll be formatting the fonts, changing background colors, changing font colors, changing the alignment of the text within the different controls that we do in the template. So that's what we'll be covering today. And by the time we're done, we'll have a nice looking quotation template. And you will have lots of ideas swimming around in your head, I think. We're going to work from quotations. What we're doing in quotations will work exactly the same way in the sales module for creating an invoice. What you learn here in quotations, if you're using the sales module and also would like to create an invoice, you may follow the same steps there. So in my quotation record here, I have a quotation. I'm going to open it first so we can observe fields and things in the quote record. So we have a quote number down here. We have all quotes are associated with an account and a contact. We have the address of the company, and we have a status, and the information. And then our products and services are here under the products and services tab. If you have been working an opportunity with this company, then you can convert the opportunity to a quote record, and your products and services that you entered in the opportunity will transfer across. And then likewise, if this becomes a sale, you then can convert the quotation record to a sale record, which then would allow you to create your invoice from there. But we have some products here. You can see this is a coffee company that we're building a quote for today. And I have added some coffee products into our price book here. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. So I can come here, click my plus sign, and when I get to my products and services, I have a coffee folder, and I'm going to choose another couple of products here and apply. And then I can add some quantities. So if you've been working with ClaritySoft for a while, then you know you can add as many products and services as you want. Once you add those, you go back to your details tab, and your total here will have updated itself. If you need to charge tax, then you can type in a tax rate here. It will calculate the tax. If you need to add shipping and handling, you can do that. I'm actually going to take this out here right now. Okay, so you have your quote. I'm going to do, you may do either a save and close to return you back to the list, or a save. If you do a save, that will leave the record open, and you can come up here and go to quotation template from here. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do save and close. So here is my quote, the $280, and I'm going to click on the row action button, go to quotation template. Now in this next window, you will see old templates and new templates. The old templates are our legacy templates that have been with ClaritySoft, that are the ones that you can develop using HTML code. And we are preserving those, so if you have already developed templates using that, you still have access to them. You still can edit them, so that's all still available to you. Then the new templates is where you want to go, so you click on the new templates. I have several here, but the one that you are going to select is the quote template 1. And then you click OK. And this opens up the window just as if you were going to send a quote to a customer. So if you've been doing that with the other templates, the older ones, this will be familiar. You need to have at least your company name in here, and actually I need to change this. This is optional down here, but these fields are pulling into the template, so you probably want to make sure they're filled in. Then I'm going to click Preview. This will open the template program and show you a preview of this sample. So here's what the template currently looks like. The first thing that you want to do is to come up here at the top and magnify it. And I will do that for purposes of all of you not having to squint your eyes. So here's the layout of the template. And you can see there's a logo up here. We've got the name quote. These are fields pulling in from the quotation record, the contact name, the name of the company, the address information. And then this is my information pulling in right here, my name, my phone number. And then this is the quote date, the expiration date, and the quote number. And down here, then you can see the line items that I entered and the total. And at the bottom we have a footer that says make all checks payable to company name, which we will change to the proper company name. So this is the sample quote that's here. We do recommend you start with this because it's easier than starting one from scratch using the wizard. So until you get comfortable with working with this, we recommend that you start with the sample. So what we want to do next is we want to get into designer mode. This is preview mode. And you click this button up here to go to designer mode. And now you'll see a more detailed layout with a grid. And now you can see the individual fields that are in the template. Again, you'll want to magnify this so that you're not squinting your eyes. And you now can see the different fields being pulled in and the information. I'm going to collapse this for 1 second. And we can see then our whole template. Now, the first thing you want to do to protect yourself is do a save as to give this a different name so that you are preserving the original. To do that, you come over here to the upper left and click on this 3 stack lines button. It's a menu button, and you're going to go to Save As and give your template a name. So I'm just going to call this Webinar Template. And you can see other templates that you've already saved are listed here, so you can see what other ones you already have, so you won't name them the same and overwrite an existing one. And then you click Save. So now you've got it saved with a different name and you can go for it, making changes to things. Before we start doing that, I want to review a few things on the screen. Up at the top, you have some different buttons here. We've already looked at this zoom button. You can click the plus sign to magnify a little by 5% each click. So again, if you've worked with anything like this, zoom in to make it easier for you to work instead of sitting there hunched over your computer keyboard and squinting your eyes. Zoom it in. This button here takes you to the preview. So after you've done some design work here, you can click the preview button. It will take you back to that screen that we were just at and show you what the template is going to look like. Then after you've looked at it and you see, oh, I need to fix this or I need to fix that, in the preview, you click the designer button. This button here is to exit. So those are the things at the top. So zoom to where you want to be that makes it comfortable to work, and then you can go between designer and preview. Then along the left side of the screen are different control buttons. We're not going to go into these in much detail today, but I just want you to understand what they are. So here, if you wanted to create a text box, this is a label control. And you can drag it over here and create a label box much like this bill to here. This is to create a checkbox, so on and so forth. Down here, you can see the different controls that you have. And these control the data that is pulled into those types of objects. Then on the right side, we have 3 buttons over here. We have Properties, we have Field List, and we have Report Explorer. Properties is what we're going to use the most today. And what you do, if you want to see the Properties panel, click on it and it will expand the panel. And then depending on which control you have selected, it will show you the information that applies to that control. So for example, if I click on the logo image, now I'm seeing the properties for the logo image over here. And I can control different things or make changes, one of which can be changing the image, which I'm going to show you very shortly. So you have appearance. Notice the little triangles. When you click on the triangles, it expands the list of options so that you can see all your options that you have, and then you collapse. So you can do just basically point to things and see what they are. Then with the properties, if you wanted to collapse it to get it out of the way for what you're doing, you click the little arrow here, that will collapse the panel. This is your field list, because you might want to insert some other fields into your quote. Maybe you have some custom fields that you would like to pull into your quote. So you can click on the field list panel and go to quotes, and then you have the My Information fields. Those will be the fields that are your information, your name, your email address, your phone number. Then here we have the quotation fields that don't have the item lines, the product lines. And here we have all the fields for quotations plus the item lines down here. So you'll see lines, item number, so on and so forth. And these will include any custom fields that you have added. So that's where you can grab a field if you need to bring a different field into your template. And then you can collapse all this back up. And then you can go back to properties if you want. And then your Report Explorer is basically where everything is. When you click on an item in here, it will tell you where you are. It'll highlight, this is label 2. Okay, so it's showing you the parts of the report and the information that's in the different parts of the report. Where we're going to work the most today is in the properties, because we're going to be changing the properties of these different parts of the report. So first thing I want to do is change the logo here. You want to put in your logo. You don't want ClaritySoft's logo. So we're going to click on it to select it. You'll see the handles around the item, the control. And you're going to come over here into the properties, and it shows you up here, it's pointing to a picture box, all right? And right here is image. When you click on the 3 dots, it will take you to exploring your files, and you go to the folder. So I have this image right here. I click on it, I click open, and it drops it in. Now you can see that the image isn't fitting correctly into the control box. So I come back over here, and there is a sizing option. And you have different sizing options. The one that we want to pick is squeeze, because this will squeeze the image and size it to the control. These others are described in the support portal under the quotation help topic. So if you want to explore the other ones and what they do, then you can go read those in the support portal. So we're going to squeeze this into the control, and it has now resized my image in there. It's all proportional and everything is fine. And if I were to adjust this in size, it would move with it. So I've set that. So you choose your image, and then you choose your sizing for your image. So that's one image that's in there. Now, the other thing you want to do while you're working, because you've already saved this with a different name, to protect yourself again, come over here, and now you can just simply click Save. And then you can keep yourself working. This, especially when you're learning something new, sometimes you do something that causes everything to go out of whack. If you haven't saved it, then you might lose work. So I just am an oversaver on those kinds of things until I'm comfortable with something. But I still like to continue to save. Down here, we have a footer to make all checks payable to company name. Well, first of all, I want to click in here, and I want to add the name of the company here to my company, which is Midnight Espresso. When I click on this text box, you'll see the properties window change, and then there's a text area here that has all my text. So I can come over here, take out company name, and then I just click back on the box here on the control, and notice it changes it, and I need to make a fix. Now, if you need to stretch the box a little bigger, you can. If you want to change the font, you can do that as well. So while you're in the control, you can come down here and go to Appearance. And you'll see background color, border color, if you want to put a border color in. And then you've got font here. It's in Times New Roman. Maybe you want to pick a different font. So I'm going to pick this one. You might want to make it larger. So this is in point sizes. You can pick. Most of us think in points because of working with Word forever. So we don't think in these other ones. So points are good. And then you can have any different size point sizes. I'm going to leave it at 9. If you want to change the color of the text, then that's your foreground color. And you can click here. And then you can go, right now it's black, which is this lower left corner. White is the upper left corner. And then you can go anywhere in here to go to a color. So if I go here, I get kind of brown colors, and then I might want to pick a sort of black brown to go with my coffee theme. It'll put the code number here, and you could jot this number down. Then you can use that same color consistently throughout your template. So you can click in these different areas till you get the color that you like. And then when you click OK, your text will change to that color. And I could do the same thing here. If I wanted to make it the brown color, I can go to here. It shows you the text. And then I can go to Appearance. I want the font and the foreground color. I didn't copy it, so I'll just type it again. You'll notice the color shows up, and that's set to the same color. So that's fairly easily done to edit the box. And then again, I'm going to save. Now what I want to do, I have quote here. And let me collapse this for a minute. I see the word quote, and what I'd like to do really is change it to quotation. I just think that will look a little nicer. And I might want to make it a little bit smaller and also change the color to that brown that I've selected. So again, I can click on the control, then I can expand my properties, and you'll see quote here, and can change it to quotation. When I click back in the control, it will change it. Then I can come down again to the appearance area and select the font. So I'm going to go to here to change it to be consistent. And right now it's 30 points. So maybe I want to make it 25. And again, to see the change, you can, it did reflect it there. Also notice that because I made the word longer, it's wrapping. So I'll have to stretch my box here shortly. But before I do that, I want to go to my color. And I can type that same code number in to get my same color brown. Then if I scroll back up here and I collapse this to get out of the way, I can grab the middle handle here on my control box and stretch it until it shows quotation. Now, the other thing I may want to do, this is aligned at the top left inside the control box. I might want to align it either at the top right or perhaps middle right. And I can even move this whole control down. One of the things that's nice is if you don't want to drag with the mouse, you can click and then just tap your down arrow key. You have a little more control over it to move it where you want. I might bring it down to line it up with my logo. And then if I go back to properties, I can come down here to text alignment top left and make it middle right. And then that way it's going to line up on the right margin edge. So what I can do now is I can save it. And then I can click my preview button to just preview what I have done. So I can see what it's starting to look like. So I can see my brown down here, and I can see what I've done up here. So you just keep moving back and forth between your designer and your preview. So next thing to do, we do have a couple other images to bring in here. And so we want to place them down here to either side of our Make All Checks Payable. So this is an image control that we want to have. And that is right here. So I click on this, it's a picture box, and I can click on it actually and drag it over here. And as soon as I start dragging, you will see it come over here. And I'm going to drop it in here for a second and then scroll down. And I'm going to grab it again and drag it down here. And I'm going to push it right about there. And then I can scroll down yet again. And I want to resize this to push it up in here. Now you'll notice different red lines showing up. The other thing that might happen if you get something on top of another thing, notice how it turns this pinky red. That's telling you that these are overlapping. Your two controls are overlapping one another and you need to move them. So I'm just going to use my arrow key until it goes back to the white. That means they're next to each other, but they're not overlapping each other. And then I'm going to bring another control, picture control over, and I want to put it on this side. Again, I just drop it in. Oops, this happened before. And then I can scroll down just a bit and push this up till it's inside here. And then I can use my left arrow to do this. So now I want to insert my images. I'm clicked on it, and then I want to see my properties. So I'm going to come up here. Oops, wrong scroll. There's two scrolls, an inner scroll for the template and an outer scroll for the screen. So I'm going to click Properties. I'm going to go to Image again. And I want the beans for the right side. And it will place them in there. And then again, the sizing, I want to do squeeze. Go to the left side, Image, click the left beans, open, squeeze. So that is done. So we've put in new images, we've changed the color and size and font of text. Now what we want to do is we want to change our items table here. So what we would like to do is we want to take quantity and move it from here over to between description and unit price. It just seems to make more sense to have the item number, the description, the quantity, the unit price, and then the total. So that's what we want to do. There are a couple of ways you can do this. I'm going to do it where I'm going to insert a new column here first and then put quantity and the quantity field in. Then I'm just going to go over here and remove these two just to show you the process. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on the unit price heading, control, go to properties, and then these little buttons here, you will see there is an insert column to the left and an insert column to the right, and then there's a delete column. Well, I want to insert a new column to the left. So I click it, and it puts a new column in for me. Then notice that my lines price needs a column down here because it didn't do it for the second row. So I need to click on the field name for my lines price, and I need to insert a column to the left. So now I have inserted the header name and now where the field will go. So I can click on this and notice it says table cell 11. I can change it to quantity. And then when I click over here, that'll be here. And I'm going to leave this alone for right now because I'm going to change all of these at the same time. And then I want to click here, and this actually I need to insert a field. So I'm going to go over here to my field list, go to quotes, and I want quotation details with item lines. Go down and find quantity. I'm going to drag and drop that in here. And it actually replaces what was there. So I now have my field for the quantity. I have my heading for the quantity. I've inserted it over here. So I can come over to here now and click on this quantity, and then I can go back to my properties and I can say delete this column. So notice that it went away. And then I have to do the same thing for the field. Delete this column. So that's a way to adjust the order of your table if you decide, if you built it one way and you want to change it. So the next step we want to do now is format all these headings so that they're all the colors that we want, they're all lined up the way we want if we want to change the font. One of the things you can do is you can change multiple controls at the same time. So if I click, I'm going to collapse this for a minute. If I click on item number, and I hold the Control key down on the computer, click on Description, click on Quantity, click on Unit Price, and click on Total Price, I've now selected all of them. Then when I click on the properties, I can go to, let's go to font here first. And the foreground color, it says black because it doesn't know what to do because one of them is black and the rest are white. So I need to come in here and change it to white. So that sets all of it. Notice this one disappeared because it's white on a white background. And then the background color is here. And I want that brown that I've been using, and I have the code written down. So that's my brown. So that's done very quickly and easily by selecting the multiple controls and then making the changes. Now maybe also I want to change the font because I've been using that sans serif. So I can change to that and all of them will be changed. Then the next thing I'd want to do is move across and change my text alignment. So I might want some left and top, or might want them in the center. So I either want them all at the top, all in the middle, or all at the bottom. So I want to decide that vertical alignment. Then the horizontal alignment, I could make some left, some right. Now the other problem I have here is this unit price is wrapping around. It doesn't have enough room. So what I want to do here, I'm going to click on Description and Control click on the field, and then I'm going to grab the handle and just push it to the left, which allows my quantity to get bigger. And then I'm going to select my quantity and Control click on this and drag this because quantity doesn't need to be that large. And now my unit price is okay. And I could do, if I click just on quantity, do my text alignment down here. This is top left. Maybe I want to do top center. And again, I would just go and change, add things the way I want, select the controls, format the controls. And then again, I can save it, preview it to see what I have. So we have this. Let me back down a little bit on this. So we have our footer down here. There's a page number. We have our line items. If I had put tax in, then my tax would show up here and the total would include the tax. If you don't need a tax field, you can remove it and just basically have a subtotal field. If you have shipping, then you can add a shipping field down here. If you've added into your quote record, then it will show up in the total here. Subtotal in quotes is the total of all your line items, not including tax and shipping. Total includes tax and shipping. So depending on what you have, what you need to do, that's what you can do. So that's basically how you can do it. If you need to move fields around, you can change them. You can take them away. If you don't want ship to or don't need ship to, you can delete the controls. You can bring in new ones. For example, if I wanted to add the contact person's, say, phone number over here or email address, then I could, probably the easiest thing would be to go find the field and I could find the person's email. So if I pull that over, or maybe we want the phone number, I'm thinking maybe the phone number might be in here. So I can grab this, drag it across, and drop it where I want it to go. Then I could Well, I could just move this over. None of these have a label with them. So if I didn't want a label, I could just move this over here. I'm just using my arrow key and stretch it to match and set the font if it needs to be changed, but do that. And then again, when I go up to the top and I do a preview, now the person's phone number is pulling in. So that's how you can add a field. You just go to the field list, find the field, drag it over, drop it where you want it, and then move it into position and adjust everything around it. That's how you create a quotation template. And then when you're done, you do your final save, and you have to save from designer mode. So you have to go back to designer mode and save it. Then you can go back. I would go to my quote that I want to send, go to the row action button, quotation template, and pick my template. Pick the one that I just created. I get this window. If I want to preview it, I can preview it, or if I know everything's A-okay, then I can go directly to emailing it to the person, and it will put a PDF copy of your quote down here, and you have your email text, which you can type in here and you can add. You also can insert a signature if you have one. I don't think I've got one designed in here. You can insert your signature if it doesn't show up, and then email this directly to the person. The email will be saved in ClaritySoft with the quote attached, but you can view the quote at any time by going to the quote templates. So that's how you can create a quote template using the new version. As we say every week, if you need any help at ClaritySoft, please call our support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com, and they'll be happy to help you with questions. And then future topics, please let us know. We just completed a month of brand new topics. And next month, you should have received next month's schedule already, so hopefully you'll be signing up for some of the new options that we're doing next month. And I will tell all of you to have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for attending.